How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store is running a plethora of deals right now. Want to highlight some of those best sales running right now in a variety of different titles. Now, they are running a weekend offer sale as well as its mid-year sale. I do want to mention some of the deals from the weekend offer sale because I actually think the weekend offer sale this time around is pretty damn good, all things considered. There's a lot of good deals available as a part of that sale, so I do want to mention those. You only have another day to pick those up, so we'll mention those off the top, and then I'll mention the other deals that are available from the mid-year sale. The mid-year sale is running until July the 3rd. Weekend offer, obviously weekend only, so jump on those as soon as possible. But right off the top, we have a Plague Tale bundle, 60% off for $31.99. This includes both a Plague Tale Innocence and a Plague Tale Requiem. Now, mind you, both of those titles have been PlayStation Plus Essential titles in the past, so you might own both of them, or at least quote-unquote own them as long as you're a Plus subscriber. If you don't, this is an awesome deal for both a Plague Tale Innocence and a Plague Tale Requiem. I think both of these games are really, really well done and incredibly compelling and gripping narrative-driven titles, which is relatively difficult to do in this day and age in terms of making a high-quality, engrossing narrative title that people find compelling enough to drop $60 on. That is super, super difficult to do, but they did a killer job with both a Plague Tale Innocence and a Plague Tale Requiem. To get both titles for $31.99, again, I think this is an awesome pickup, and certainly do play these games sequentially. There's rumblings that Asabo might be doing a third Plague Tale title, so fingers crossed that comes to fruition. But for now, those two games for that price, great pickup. Next up, we got Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Look, you guys know, if you watch this channel at length at all, to be honest, how I feel about Jedi Survivor. Legitimately one of my favorite games of 2023, and I know most people certainly didn't have it in their mix for Game of the Year. I certainly did, and that was from somebody that played the PC version of this game initially. The PC version of this game, quite possibly, was one of the biggest abominations that I've seen in my life in terms of how bad that PC port was. But when you remove the technical limitations, and I know that's saying a lot, like, you know, we should just be willy-nilly and giving the game a free pass, but this game has so much to like from the standpoint of its quality gameplay, narrative, you know, characters, everything like that is really well done. It's a bigger game than Jedi Fallen Order. Do I recommend you to play Jedi Fallen Order first? Absolutely. I do recommend that, but Jedi Survivor, without a doubt, in my opinion, is the better game. Now, you can pick up Jedi Fallen Order. That is on sale for $9.99. Or you do have the option to sign up to EA Play. That's $5 a month, or they might have actually upped the price to $5.99 a month. And it gets you access to the Vault catalog of EA titles. And yes, Star Wars Jedi Survivor is a part of that Vault catalog now, so something to consider there. Speaking of the EA Vault catalog, that brings me to my next title. Dead Space the Remake is 65% off for $24.49. Absolutely depressing that it seems like Dead Space once again has been shelved as an IP, and we won't be getting more Dead Space titles. I feel like this is absolutely depressing that Dead Space constantly seems to get the short end of the stick and constantly seems to get shelved. You know, it is what it is, but Dead Space Remake is still a phenomenally well-done game. From an atmosphere standpoint, a visual standpoint, it is just a really, really well-done game, and for $24 and change, I think this is a great pickup, and I would strongly, strongly recommend it. Just great from an atmosphere standpoint, and Dead Space back in 2008 was awesome. You're remaking it, you're expanding it a little bit for $24.49, great pickup here. Next up, we have Dishonored and Prey, the Arkane Collection, 70% off for $24. This gets you the whole gamut of titles. You will get a ton of content here. So you'll get Dishonored Definitive Edition, you'll get Dishonored 2, you'll get Dishonored Death of the Outsider, and you'll get Prey. Prey is actually done by Arkane Austin, not the same guys that did all of the Dishonored games, and unfortunately, Arkane Austin has been shut down by Microsoft, so it is what it is. But all these great games for $24 is fantastic. Dishonored 1 and 2 are great. Death of the Outsider is fine, and Prey is really good as well. Again, for the quality of content, you're getting $24 for everything. I think this is a pretty good pickup, and I would give that a look. Next up, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, 85% off for $8.99. Now, this is also available in EA Play, but when you get to the point of Mass Effect Legendary Edition, like for most people, I don't think they're going to get through the entire Mass Effect trilogy in the span of a month, so, you know, you're going to be signed up for a while, but maybe you can definitely get through the entire trilogy, but man, you got to be playing like quite a lot of Mass Effect for that month. But nevertheless, $9 to get Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, and Mass Effect 3 with the game's respective DLCs. This is just a phenomenal deal. $8.99 is a great pickup, and Mass Effect 2, in my opinion, is one of the greatest video games ever created. Mass Effect 3 is pretty good as well, and Mass Effect 1 certainly shows its age, but still a worthwhile game to go through. Next up, another trilogy, we got the Mafia trilogy, the 67% off for $19.79. Great deal for Mafia 1, 2, and 3. Essentially, buying this trilogy gets you one of the games for free, since each of these games usually go for around $9.99, and you're buying the bundle here for $19.79, which I think is a fairly good deal. You know, Mafia 1 is a ground-up remake, the definitive edition that is, and while the visuals look great and the character models look great, it's still kind of dated from a gameplay standpoint. Like, it's perfectly serviceable and perfectly fine, it's just not blowaway in any area. Mafia 2 is more of a remaster than a remake with the definitive edition, but that game is awesome. I thought Mafia 2 was great, and Mafia 3 is generally the game that people look at as not being that great. It had some issues, but I still think it's a worthwhile game to go through. You know, and you're getting it as a part of this bundle. I still think you're going to find some enjoyment out of it. And hopefully Hangar 13 is working hard on Mafia 4 and that game ends up being pretty good. But yeah, Trilogy here, $19.79, great price here. Lastly, for the weekend offer sale, Dying Light is 85% off for $2.99, which is an absolutely ridiculous deal. This is just the base game, so keep that in mind. The Dying Light Enhanced Edition isn't on sale. And when it does go on sale, it's like $8.99. But here you get the base game for $2.99. Like, yo, that's highway robbery, and I have to recommend that for that price point. So definitely a good pickup there. All right, so those are the deals from weekend offer. Now to mention some of the deals that are still available from the mid-year sale. And we already covered the mid-year sale quite a lot, but these are a little bit more on the expensive side, to say the least. Right off the top, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, $45.49. It is 35% off. This is a game that I would recommend that you at the very least play Yakuza Like a Dragon. Ideally, given that Kazuma Kiryu returns in this game as a main character and a big aspect of it is calling back to a lot of the older Yakuza titles, it would be advantageous for you to play Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami, Kiwami 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, kind of a little bit harder to recommend, given that Kiwami 3 is going to come out, and maybe they'll remake the other ones as well. You get the idea, though. You don't have to play those games. It would be beneficial, but still, as its own RPG, it's really, really well done. At the very least, though, definitely do play Yakuza Like a Dragon. That's, like, absolutely mandatory before you play this game. Love this game. It is my front runner for Game of the Year right now. I just thought it was tremendous, and Like a Dragon, it has an absurd amount of content to the point where it can be seen as a bit overwhelming. However, you don't have to do everything. For example, Dondoko Island is something that a lot of people got into. It's kind of its, you know, Animal Crossing gimmick that is in the game. I didn't mess around with that at all. And yeah, I probably could have gone, you know, people have sunk hours and hours into that component of the game, and I could have extended my game time with Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, but you know what? There's so much other stuff to do that I am still, well, getting my money's worth. Even just going through the main story, that's going to take you quite a while, and all of the optional content, it's just an absurd amount of content for your money. And yes, $45 is expensive, but I think it's well worth it. And if you have any affinity towards Yakuza as a franchise, you'll love the game. Next up, we got Granblue Fantasy Relink Standard Edition, 30% off for $42. Unfortunately, Granblue Fantasy Relink kind of just drops you in the middle of the Granblue world, and narratively, it's a little bit hard to follow initially. It's still a really, really well-done game, and I think from a gameplay standpoint, it's great. The visual art style, I thought, was awesome, and overall, just a really, really well-done action RPG. Combat is great, and definitely flashy in terms of visuals. $42 is pricey, but this is one that's going to hold up in price for a while, so I thought I'd give that a shout. Assassin's Creed Mirage is available for 50% off for $25. Look, I'm not the biggest Ubisoft fan these days, but you know what? For a deal like this, I think it's pretty good. Mirage is a smaller scale game, which is certainly more up my alley for what I want out of Ubisoft. However, some people would say, or, you know, one of the promotional vehicles for Mirage is, oh, this is a throwback to the older Assassin's Creed games. That's not what Mirage is at all. It's a smaller scale game than what Ubisoft has put out recently, but it's not a callback to the older Assassin's Creed titles. It still fundamentally plays like a newer Assassin's Creed game, which, you know, still isn't my cup of tea, but it's an enjoyable game, and if you do want something that's a little bit more digestible from a length standpoint, I feel like Mirage offers you that. Nevertheless, $24.99 for that. Pretty good deal there. Next up, we got Live Alive, 50% off for $24.99 as well. Live Alive is a really, really well done throwback RPG. And it's a throwback RPG because, well, it came out fairly recently here stateside. However, this is a remake, an HD 2D remake of a game that came out on the Super Nintendo but never came out stateside. You get the idea. Well done game. You play as these different characters and their narratives ultimately do connect together. It's pretty well done, and each character kind of has a different gameplay style. The individual campaigns for each character are fairly short, but given that you've got quite a few to go through, it does end up being a fairly lengthy game. $25, not a bad pickup there. Next up, we got the Persona Collection, 45% off for $49.49. Now, that is quite expensive, but you get P5R, you get P4 Golden, and then you get Persona 3 Portable. No, you don't get Persona 3 Royal, but you get Portable, which is still something that I think the ardent Persona fan is going to want to go through because it does have the female character route. Persona 5 Royal is still going for a hefty price, like 25 to 30 bucks, and Golden is tremendous as well. All the games for $49.49. It's not a great pickup, but if you want all the titles, you know, pretty good deal, all things considered. Next up, we got AI, the Somnium Files nirvanA Initiative. This is obviously the direct sequel to AI, the Somnium Files, which you should play that game first. And hell, I would say that game is the stronger title, but nirvanA Initiative is still a worthwhile narrative-driven visual novel. The aesthetics in this game are great. It's just, you know, Kaname not being at the helm of the story does, you know, bring it down a little bit, but nevertheless, 24 bucks for that is pretty good. And then lastly, VALKYRIE ELYSIUM, 60% off for $24. Now, this is a super mid-level action JRPG from Square Enix. It is not blow-away, and if you compare it to their top-level games, it is not at that level. The gameplay is still enjoyable, the soundtrack is really good, the narrative is just nonsensical and really not engaging whatsoever, but for $24, I think it's a decent pickup. It's just you have to keep your expectations in line with a game like this, and if you do, I think there's some fun to be had. But that is gonna do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals available as a part of both the weekend offer sale and the mid-year sale. Both deals and sales are wrapping up, so jump on these as soon as possible. With the weekend offer sale, you'll have until the end of tomorrow, so it'll be live all of tomorrow to pick those up, and then the mid-year sale, it would be until the end of Wednesday, so jump on that as soon as possible. That's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.